Welcome to the Wellness on Tap podcast with your host, Dr. Debs Eastwood.
Yay! I have been looking forward to this. I have got sitting opposite me two incredible people, and we are going to change the world, starting with the north of England. Welcome back, Theo and Pollyanna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Debs.
Good to be here.
Oh, it's so nice to have you here. So, as you have established, Theo has got an excellent business going. Primarily from my experience anyway, in the north of London, but obviously he has global aspects to that business as well. But the north is sadly lacking in holistic stuff. It's very sporadic. So the three of us have got together and we have a mission.
A very big mission.
Of course, we don't want to think small. We are going to bring holistic treatment to the north. Starting in my hometown, Sheffield, or as close as we can find somewhere decent to do it, and see how we go from there. I predict this is going to be big.
Bigger than big.
Bigger than big. I like the sound of that. So, Theo, you're going to bring what to the party?
Everything wellness.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so as we previously spoke on the podcast before, we are going to bring what we're actually offering in London, in our showroom and clinics there. So we're going to bring the Bahi therapy clinic to Sheffield, and that we include our very unique PBM system, which is a photobiomodulation system. It's a 5-wavelength device that utilizes medical technology, which is a medical device in South Korea and in America. And we're going to bring that alongside the molecular hydrogen inhalation, the molecular hydrogen on tap with Tint water, the hyperbaric system, and the sonic wave system from Hue-Light as well. So this is collectively known as the Bahi Therapy Suite Clinic. And with that, we're going to include one more therapy, which is PEMF, Pulse Electric Magnetic Field Therapy, using the Beamer technology. So that's what we currently use in our setup at the moment, and we are getting outstanding results. And what we want is to be able to have the vision to set up not just one or two clinics, but thousands of clinics in the UK, in Europe, all over the world, in fact. We have to start with the UK first because we only currently have 2.
And that is going to change. We're going to put a 0 on the end of that in the very near future. And Pollyanna,
It's needed.
You're bringing holistic stuff plus your experience in property and business and things to.
Well, we need
help.
to find the property so that we can run the clinic. You and I have both had the privilege of going to Theo's clinic.
We have. There's a lot to meet up to there.
And I used to work with Theo. We met 10 years ago. And when I went down to the clinic a few months ago, I was blown away. I mean, the clinic has always been great. He's always been at the forefront of the latest innovative ideas. But what is there now is just mind-blowing. So it was so great to see the clinic and see the machines and test them.
Yes.
Which was great, had the most fun and felt amazing. So, of course, we need to have that technology up in the north, but we still have traditional therapy. We'll still have, I'm a Reiki master, as you know, so we'll always have Reiki treatments available. And one of the reasons I met Theo all those years ago was learning about SCENAR therapy, which is a machine, and I always say it's like a TENS machine but on steroids. And I used to do a lot of work with sports injuries, great for sports injuries, and it just takes the pain away almost instantly. So it is an amazing, amazing machine. So we would have those treatments as well. I just want to find a really, really good property so that we can get started.
I've got a list on one of these online estate agencies that I've been selecting things to buy or to rent, just so that we can start having a look and see what's around and see what's there. So in addition to what I want to bring to it is, of course, to keep telling everybody about what we're doing on the podcast, but also to use my medical skills in cannulation to offer IV and IM multivitamins and multinutrients, to bring blood tests into it as well, not just the kits that you can do at home, but also actually having blood taken, and to bring in activation supplements as well. So that between us, we've got a huge range.
We've also got LifeWave. We've got the
of course,
patches, which are amazing. And the thing is, in each of our fields, we've all had clients that have had amazing results, and not just a little difference, huge differences, life-changing differences. And that's why we're all so passionate about what we do, because it's not just helping someone get out of pain for a little while. Some of these things are absolutely life-changing that we've been able to achieve. And I think everybody should have the opportunity. Like, no one should be in pain. No one should not have any hope. There are so many diseases and illnesses that doctors give a tablet for and say, live with the pain, live with the suffering, live with the, ... Whereas that's not good enough.
Absolutely.
and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're miracle workers, but we have had such great results. So.
Yeah. And I mean, you've just, again, hit the nail on the head. And to add to that, we all complement each other's services, and if you've got an individual coming in that has X, Y, or Z problems, and showing autoimmune condition that has inflammatory response issues, having things like SCENAR, having access to, your wonderful services, Debs, as well, and then having access to bioresonance, and then putting it and knitting it all together is where the true results happen.
I agree.
Then you can give things like molecular hydrogen-rich water, molecular hydrogen inhalation therapy, PBM, but you can tailor the individual treatments and needs for the client.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Traditional medicine is one size fits all pretty much, whereas we're offering, like you just said, a tailored, a variety of different packages of treatments that will suit the individual's needs.
Exactly that. And that's the way I sort of visualize a clinic space being set up. And in all honesty, our place in our HQ in Enfield is not kind of set up for that. It's a showroom as well. So we get a lot of medical establishments coming down to the showroom space, but we've kind of turned it into a clinic as well. But I'm in the process of opening my own clinic in London, and I'm going to create that dream space of what I want. My dream as well is to have a space in Cyprus, because if we look at what's going on over there, these products are needed, and for that, I'm going over there in 3 weeks' time, because I have selective clients who have, booked me in to go over and give them a treatment. So just to add to that, you don't actually have to come to the clinic if you can't. And this is where I want to add this in.
Oh, please do.
We have a very unique business. For those who can come to the clinic, we'll use the more advanced protocols and machinery that we have. But what if you cannot?
Which will apply to a lot of people,
Absolutely.
won't it?
Yeah. So us as a company have looked at all of these different modalities and products that we've designed for our clients to have products at home as well.
Ah, I see.
So with that, they can drink the molecular hydrogen-rich water from their home. They can drink it from a bottle, from as little as 350 pounds. But what about the PBM? What about the photobiomodulation? What about red light therapy? What about inhalation molecular hydrogen? We now, SCENAR therapy, we now have all of these in accessible home devices as well.
That's massively changing who we can help, isn't it?
Big game changer. It really is. And for that reason, we tend to get results where clients coming into clinic potentially can't afford to have 2 to 3 treatments a week. So I will tailor them a protocol of where they can either lease or invest in the products for them to treat themselves at home. And that's today where I was going to introduce this as well. So not only will we have that clinical space, but we'll also have these home devices like this, okay?
What is that, Theo?
This is a portable device, okay, that is a photobiomodulation device. But what it does, it gives you the Nogia frequencies built in, as well as having the red light therapy. Now, the room space here is very bright, so if I put it on, we won't be able to see the red lights, but it utilizes near-infrared treatment. So when you press it, you can have 544 LED chips, medical LED chips, that will light up and give you that photobiomodulation treatment.
Amazing.
At the same time, it will utilize the Nogia frequencies as well. So I'm going to press the box and just let me know if you can hear it.
That's crazy. Something so small and it does so much.
And if you can hear that, very high frequency sound, and at the same time, utilizing the red light therapy and the Nogia frequencies at the same time. So all the client has to do at home is place this on the affected area, and you're still getting that photobiomodulation treatment. It's an irradiating pad as well, so it will heat up and feel amazing. And at the same time, you're getting all of the therapeutic effects, obviously not as much as laying in the bed, but still very, very effective for the client to have that treatment at home.
That's amazing. It's really amazing.
It is.
Now, if we also back that up and we say, okay, we have a SCENAR device that you can use for home as well. And we teach the client how to use it, how to apply it, and how to get the most effective protocols for their ailment or pain or their issue, injury. And we've had that for clients who have many different types of sports injuries, or clients who suffer with migraines, or clients who just want to take it on holiday because their back will go or their knee will go, you know. And that's where I told the story before. I got stung by a jellyfish in Dubai, and I had a miraculous change within 2 minutes. But that's not just one story. I mean, my wife slipped down the stairs 2 years ago, and she bruised her glute quite badly, but we gave her a SCENAR treatment. We gave her a PBM treatment. Now, what if we didn't have access to them products? And this is also what we're bringing. You know, so we've now looked at it and said, okay, for those who can't come to the clinic, we will find a way of how to bring the clinic to you. Not just in your home, but also in your workspace as well.
And hopefully they would get enough out of the treatments at home that maybe then that would facilitate them being able to come into the clinic and get the full treatment.
Yeah. I had a client who had a stroke, and, you know, it's very difficult for him to go out. So we will then go to him. We now have a new inhalation device where it's not 50 kilos because that's for the clinical space. Sure. They've now devised a technology where it's half the size and literally a tenth of the weight, and fits in a travel suitcase bag. Yeah, so you can take it on holiday with you, and you're getting that molecular hydrogen inhalation treatment, 900 milliliters of flow, which is equivalent of still drinking about 15,000 liters of molecular hydrogen water within the hour.
Wow. And what would that do for someone who's never heard of these treatments or anything? What would that do? What would that achieve for them?
Yeah. When you combine, especially PBM, red light therapy, with molecular hydrogen, we find it's very calming very quickly. Yeah, so it's known to be a selective antioxidant, as we explained before. But not just that, it's selective to know which free radical to help scavenge. And that's why molecular hydrogen is so important. It's the foundation of life. So everyone has to be on it. And we now have found a way for that. So having a selective antioxidant in your glass of water is equivalent of you drinking X amount of blueberries. We said about 2,000 blueberries. And Deb started laughing.
I know. It's like I can see me eating 2,000
And again,
blueberries.
if you look at that in studies, it's only in terms of its antioxidation value. But ultimately, you're never going to eat 2,000 blueberries. So you get a lot of clients who will go and have intravenous vitamin C done or taking vitamin C as a supplement. And it is the most common supplement that someone will take. Why? Because it's a great antioxidant. Yeah, it's a free radical scavenger. So molecular hydrogen being the most selective bioavailable version that you can give the body. And we have that in forms of water that you can drink, and now in an inhalation process for far superior treatment, therapeutic treatment. And these are technologies that we are bringing to Sheffield. And we're going to try and do it as quickly as possible as well.
100%, yes.
Yeah, and it's really, really exciting times. You know, I'm away today from my London HQ, and I've still got 4 or 5 clients booked in, and they'll still go and have their treatment. So now we've managed to build a business that doesn't evolve around me.
Which is great.
This is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can be anywhere. I can be in California, Cyprus, and the clients can still go and have their treatment.
Yeah, which will be the idea for Sheffield and then other northern, towns and cities around as well.
Yeah, totally.
So we will be the key to starting it all, the core of the business, and then get others trained up. So hopefully providing employment for local people as well,
Yes.
which is just amazing.
Yeah.
And just elaborate on that, Debs, because you said about employment. With the way we've structured the business is that there's also opportunities there, because, as we know, is peer-to-peer networking is the best way. We spoke about that earlier. You cannot beat the word of mouth referral.
Absolutely.
Especially those coming into the clinic. We always ask, oh, where did you hear about us? Oh, my best friend told me about you, how you helped their back problem. Oh, my best friend told me their eczema improved, And again, that's where the referral happens, is from your closest people. So where we do a lot of things, social media, digital media, yes, it works, but peer-to-peer wise is where we want to build this business. And again, we have the most incredible products for everyone to be talking about, sharing, and for us to build this wellness facility together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but any of us northerners, London seems to get further away all the time. I mean, I know the train journey is really efficient, but it's once you get into London, for those of us that don't live there, moving around London can be really, really difficult.
And stressful.
And very, very stressful. So to have these places available, where it might be just a short car, bus, journey, even a walk, hopefully, then it's just making wellness accessible to everybody.
Yeah, totally.
And that's the key, isn't it? Is making it accessible.
Accessible and affordable,
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Because that's our biggest challenge. Obviously, our technology are the very best. So they're not super cheap to invest in. But what we've looked at is we want it to be affordable for every individual coming into having a treatment. For that reason, you can come in and have molecular hydrogen on the inhalation device is approximately £1 per minute that you're on the device. So you can have a £20 treatment for 20 minutes molecular hydrogen.
That's amazing. And that is totally affordable.
Absolutely.
To everybody.
Yeah.
And then they are in the clinic, and then they get to see what else is available.
Yeah.
What opportunities that they are.
Yeah. When clients call and they say, how much is your treatment? How much is your service? I say, look, it starts from as little as £20. And again, if I find that they can't afford it, I will bring them in on the lower service and say, try molecular hydrogen for 20 minutes, and then from there, they will then book to have the photobiomodulation treatment done. So on the red light bed, it's £60, which again is very affordable compared to other different types of red light treatments that's out there. So that's kind of how we structure it. We want it to be the same in every clinic as well. We want it to be affordable. And before you know it, the clinic gets really busy, and then we have to open up a second one, which is what we're facing now in London.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to spread outwards.
Totally.
Spread the word.
Yeah. Yeah. And just with that, I just want to show another quick demonstration, because again, I'm a man of demos, and I love talking, but at the same time, I want to show visual demonstrations as well. So I've got a new bottle here of Highland Spring that I bought from the train station on my way up. So Pollyanna, if you don't mind, just hold that glass there for me. And I'm going to just get this Highland Spring bottle here, Debs, and I'm going to crack it open. Yeah?
Yeah, I heard that.
And I'm going to pour it here. Now, we've got a device that can create molecular hydrogen on a therapeutic level. Now, studies show that hydrogen has to be generated at a minimum of 500 parts per billion to be mildly therapeutic. But most double-blinded studies have been done on a minimum of 1,000 parts per billion. Okay. So I've got here a molecular hydrogen meter. So not many people use this because a lot of the devices and bottles on the market cannot produce that therapeutic level. So we've got a device that does and is very affordable. So I'm just going to pop this in here. The light is on, and if you just read that to me.
Big fat 0.
Okay, meaning that there's no active molecular hydrogen in that water. Yeah. So we've got 2 ways of doing this now. Thank you, Pollyanna.
You're welcome.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour that same water into our molecular hydrogen bottle here. And I'm not going to pour it fully, but just to show you very quickly, I'm traveling now. I'm in Doncaster. I was going to say Sheffield.
That's later.
But here, I'm going to pour this in here. So I'm traveling, so I take my bottle everywhere with me. Okay? So I'm going to take a bottle that has 0 molecular hydrogen and just very, very quickly, just going to show you of different ways we can produce molecular hydrogen. And I'm going to leave that for as little as a minute. Most companies say you have to wait 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to leave it and then we're going to go back to it after a minute. And this is the beauty of what we have, and we want all of our clients talking about this product. Why? Because it can make a change that quickly. I've had clients drink molecular hydrogen-rich water and within 2 minutes have felt the benefits. And the reason is because the molecular size of the element. Hydrogen is the smallest element in the world. Yeah, on the periodic table, it's the smallest. It's number 1, meaning it can penetrate every cell structure on the body. For that reason, you will go online, check it, peer-reviewed studies. Hydrogen can help with X. Hydrogen helps with X. And that's why we see so many results. Yeah, and that's just with the water. When you start to accelerate that in a therapeutic level using inhalation, guess what happens?
Better results.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was at the clinic and Theo gave me some water to come back on the journey. So I'd spent the day in London and then I was doing a really late drive back and I didn't actually get back till 2:00 in the morning. And I was fine. I was absolutely fine. And I will maintain that it was because of the water.
Oh, definitely.
That's 1 minute. You got 1 minute.
Perfect. So that's just 1 minute now. You can hear it popping.
Yeah.
Inside, we have a pressure release valve inside the cap, okay? Because you've got so many different effects that you can actually use this bottle for. And I'm going to put the light on. And if you, again, Debs, I'll leave it in there just to stabilize. Just give it a read.
It's already at 1,700.
Okay. Molecular hydrogen saturates at 1,600 parts per billion.
1,800 now.
Yeah, it will go up. Yeah, it will keep going up. So in other words, really the saturation point, if it's above 1,600, it's kind of irrelevant. That's the highest therapeutic level that can be saturated in water. So that's using it as a travel bottle. Now I'm going to show you something incredible. We're one of the only companies that have this as well. So for those who get, Pollyanna, if you don't mind, just hold that again. You can actually now have it as a
reason I'm here.
A mildly therapeutic treatment for inhalation as well. This doesn't work on obviously a therapeutic level like our molecular hydrogen machines in the clinic because you're only getting 30 to 50 milliliters of flow. But all you have to do is pop the cannula on and sit there and now breathe in molecular hydrogen as well. So for cognitive issues, for memory, it's phenomenal, again, to actually inhale molecular hydrogen. And I back this up with going online, searching it on PubMed especially, and I can give PMID numbers as well for PubMed. So more and more clients become aware of the therapeutic benefits of
You look
molecular
so
hydrogen.
good. And you're going to feel amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't stop there. There's one more.
Go on.
This bottle has one more function, and the only bottle that gives you a really great 3-in-1 option. Okay? So I'll just change the lid. I'm just going to empty it. And we get the client say, what if I want to drink from a bigger bottle? And that's a good point. So we designed the bottle to work in that way. Pollyanna? We go back to the Highland Spring and we just pop that on. We give it a little squeeze. Remember, the Highland Spring had 0 molecular hydrogen. And now we have designed it in a way that it can plug onto a 1.5 litre bottle or a 2 litre bottle with literally like this. So now when you're on holiday and the whole family want to drink molecular hydrogen-rich water, you now have your own generator producing molecular hydrogen-rich water.
That is brilliant.
It really is, yeah. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? And that's what I said, like going to the clinic, like so many devices that you have that literally are mind-blowing.
Yeah. So simple, but
The concept.
life-changing.
So simple, but life-changing. Yeah, and exactly that. For that reason, everybody we speak to invest in this type of product.
Yeah.
There's now more and more companies jumping on the hydrogen bandwagon, and what they're trying to do is make hydrogen products cheaply as they can. We don't do that.
No.
You know, the R&D behind our technology is 40 years old. So, you know, we're the finest company out there in terms of producing molecular hydrogen water. But this is just a companion before you purchase the home system.
Yeah.
And we always recommend everybody to look at the home system because it filters out all the bad, you know, toxicity in the water as well, as this doesn't in that way. But it's a great companion when you're traveling and when you're not at home.
Yeah.
Okay?
Perfect.
How
But
cool is that?
if I leave it a little bit longer, and at the end, we'll just check the levels. We'll pour it into the glass, and in between that time, I'll drink some water.
Well, I've got
Marvellous.
an empty glass here if you need an empty glass.
Oh, there we go then.
Perfect. But again, it's just a way of how to get it into the client's house, into their home if they're not able to come out. Yeah. If they're at work and stuck there and they're, you know, I can't invest in a machine because I'm never at home. Great. Now you have the answer to that, to get hydrogen into you every minute of the day.
Yeah.
Because, you know, one of the things that I've found going into other holistic clinics or even your NHS institutions, whether that be the GP or the hospitals, is that you get the treatment while you're there, but then you go home. And if your home is, you know, with the best will in the world, an environment that has a lot of toxicity around it,
Yeah.
you need to be able to help yourself at home as well.
Yeah. And for that reason, Debs, we supply a lot of air purification systems to people's
didn't
homes.
even know that either.
Yeah. We have, and you know, I've supplied quite a lot in central London, especially a lot of the residential homes there and clinics as well. I mean, Pollyanna's got one of our older machines. She's been using it for now 10, 12 years. So she actually
still
has
love it.
2 of my products. Yeah.
Yeah, still
How
love
we
it.
initially met.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still got it, still uses it.
Yeah.
But with that, we actually have a medical graded purification system that is manufactured again in South Korea that uses something called HEPA 14. So it's a HEPA medical graded filter where most HEPA systems on the market today use 13-based system. So we've got that notch higher. In anything we do, we always have that little bit higher, from our SCENAR machine being a TENS machine on steroids,
yeah.
to our water machine being a water machine on steroids. You know, the same with the PBM, the same with the PBM bed, the same with the hyperbaric, with the inhalation, you know, molecular hydrogen. They are all far superior systems to anything that's on the market or in clinical use, which is very important. I wouldn't want to go to a clinic knowing a machine is very cheaply manufactured and they're using it in a medical system.
Yeah. It's not medical grade. Not all machines are medical grade.
No, you do need the quality, don't you? Because if you're investing your time, your money, your energy, and your state of mind with regards to your health in something, it's got to be the best, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I'd ask you the question, Debs, with that. And you'll probably say this, in terms of your intravenous, you make sure that you try and get the very best.
Oh, absolutely. I researched the company that I get my products from, and they are UK-based medical grade products.
There you go. Do you see?
So, and I wouldn't use anything that wasn't.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of your sort of consumers and clients will ask you that question as well, because some people initially, when they have intravenous work done, they get a little bit scared, and you have to reassure them with that. And the same way we're reassuring the clients with all of our technologies. Here's the studies, here's the third-party tests, which are very, very important as well. In this machine here, we show a study where it's leaching no heavy metals as well. Yeah, the same with our home system.
Yeah, important. I think with me being a medical doctor as well, doing the intravenous stuff, and not only being a medical doctor, but being an anaesthetist, who's one of the few doctors that actually give intravenous medications and will put the cannula in themselves in my day job, draw up the medications myself and administer them myself, and then prescribe them afterwards.
Yep. And that's why you're going to be a key part to our clinic, and understanding the process of the client coming in, doing the blood test, explaining the process of what's going on before, and then now you start your Bahi therapy treatment, you have some Reiki done, you have some SCENAR, and collectively together as a team, we're getting them changes. You will then sit your client down and say, how are you feeling? Oh, guess what? I'm feeling so much better. Let's draw your blood again. And let's have a look and see what's going on.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Is that it's great when someone says, oh, I'm feeling so much better. But the fact that you can actually monitor.
Yeah, you can demonstrate it to them.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And, they can have other tests to see the difference.
Yeah.
So it is.
I remember when you first called me, Pollyanna, and you actually said, what's the difference with SCENAR and other electrotherapy devices out there on the market? And I said, there's a big difference. Yeah, you actually firstly need to try it, and then you need to understand the application behind it as well. SCENAR is very unique in terms of the protocols they use. And the protocols were designed by Professor Rivenko, who's, again, a neurologist professor. And he put together all these protocols of how to use your SCENAR device.
Yeah, wonderful.
And I said that to Pollyanna, and she goes, oh, okay. So, and I wasn't there to try and sell her the device. I said, why don't you come and do our training? Being a Reiki master, this is a product you can use on your clients and be trained in it. And she was like, okay. And that's how we met. And that was 2015.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago. Yeah.
And then from there, crazy. Pollyanna invested into one of our air purification cleaning systems called the Rainbow. And it's not a product we've spoken about today, but it's a cleaning system that cleans your home using nothing but water. Yeah,
perfect.
Just normal water that you put into the bowl, and it's using separating technology, which is hydroaerodynamic technology. And all of the dirt goes into a water bowl and gives you nothing but clean, fresh air coming out back into your living environment. So, I went around to Pollyanna's house, done a demonstration for that. She goes, do you do everything? Is there anything you don't do? But again, I just have the wealth of knowledge with our products. And when you've got the very best, you're very confident with sharing that to the world.
Absolutely. And that is all about the environment that you live in, isn't it? Yeah. And just trying to keep things as pure as possible. So if you're not having to use cleaning products in the same way in your house, which are full of chemicals, let's face it, aren't they?
Yeah. And we've got two solutions to that.
You have.
So firstly, the Tyant machine, the home machine, produces something called hypochlorous acid. Okay. So you press a button and it produces that, meaning that you can actually replace all of your cleaning chemicals that you're using. Because medically speaking, and if you look at it on PubMed, hypochlorous acid is 8 times stronger than bleach. Yeah, because it's actually the main ingredient that's in bleach. So that's the first thing. The second thing is it produces extreme molecular hydrogen-rich alkaline water, which is great for the fruits and veg, etc., but can also be great for spillages and stains. If you drop something on the floor on your carpet and you stain it, you can use turbo alkaline water to clean stains with, because the pH is so high, 11 plus. We don't drink that water. Yeah,
no, absolutely
on
not,
both ends of that. So the Tyant machine has so many uses and functions, as well as air purification now, which is very important because the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, Pollution Agency, one of them, basically have shown that the air quality within your home is 5 times worse than outside. And I bet we didn't know that. Yeah. The air pollution within your home. So that's why it's so important to have these type of HEPA 14 filtration systems or the rainbow, because it's really important now that we start to desensitize the air pollution within the home. And that's another demonstration that I used to do when I met Pollyanna back then. I don't do it anymore. I ain't got time for that. But we just supply the equipment to our clients. Okay. So many solutions that we have, which what we call a wellness home and wellness environment. So not just coming to our clinic and feeling better, feeling vibrant, full of energy, and getting that change to your health and well-being, but also for your living environment where we spend half of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's just
needed.
so important, isn't it? That, we're in holistic health. Let's make it a holistic package. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're wanting to bring to people.
Yeah.
So that we're empowering people. They're not having to get to the point where we have a symptom. I have to go to the GP. I have to wait for a referral. I just get some tablets and I don't know what they're doing to me. How are they interacting with the other medications that I'm taking?
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't do that. That's part of the system. And if that works, fine. Yeah. But we're offering something that is different to that.
Yeah.
And there'll always be people that will never want to do what we offer. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because there will always be people that
and
just want to go to the doctor. They want to take a tablet. And that's okay too. We're not for everybody.
With that, Pollyanna, and because I just wanted to tell you this, that's the reason why we do what we do today, because my dad suffered a heart attack in 2017. And it was lifestyle driven. It was stress related. He was a restaurateur. He owned a restaurant and he worked all the hours possible. I never used to see him. 20 hours a day he used to work. So, then it was lifestyle driven. He smoked. His diet wasn't the best and suffered a major heart attack in 2017. And we did as much research as possible to see what we could do to bring the right products in to help not just my dad, but thousands, millions of individuals, okay, who could have a technology that they're currently using every day, and that's drinking water. And that's why we found Tyon, because we researched how effective molecular hydrogen could be. And again, if you go on PubMed or if you just go on Google and type in molecular hydrogen for CHD, coronary heart disease, or type in heart, it will actually give you the PubMed application number and tell you what hydrogen is good for and why it's good for CHD. And that reason we brought the Tyon machine out, and then we developed the wellness technologies and, broadened it in terms of what we have accessible today.
Which is excellent. Northerners, look out. It's coming
it's
for
coming
you.
your way.
So this is just
coming your
finished.
way.
Okay.
Which is what we call that cycle. And I'm going to pour it in here. I'll tell you what.
Just give it a little test.
And I'll get the hydrogen meter. And I'll just drop it in. Debs, if you just read that.
1900.
1900
Yes.
parts per billion molecular hydrogen.
1911 it says on there.
So it's my date of birth. So with that, the therapeutic level is 1,600. Yeah, the highest saturation point you could get. And I just showed you there 1,900. So way above that. The average bottle will produce between 300 and 500 molecular hydrogen. On the market. But there's a problem with some bottles. Manufacturers are not producing them with something called an exhaust valve. Okay. So on our system here, it actually has the exhaust valve. So if the machine combats any type of excess chlorine or ozone, it will release that out. Very clever. A lot of products on the market today, especially those that you see on Amazon, that 50, 60 quid, do not have that. And in other words, you're drinking excessive chlorine and ozone in that water and drinking it. Yeah. So do your research, especially as much as possible. Yeah. And that's what it looks like when you travel with it.
So cute.
Cute.
Amazing.
Cute. Could put that anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
Take
you
it
can see the
anywhere.
passion, you see the
it.
vision. And like I said, we want that clinic set up in Sheffield as quickly as possible. You know, and what we want is for, many, many people that we're working with, you know, who don't have accessibility to London, who can now travel, to Sheffield. I've got a lot of connections in Manchester, so again, they want to come. They're like, oh, we can't come down to London. We need something up here.
They can just come over the hill.
Absolutely. And again, it's really, really exciting times. And especially the wellness business is $1 trillion business. Yeah. In terms of people spending money wanting to get better.
Yeah. Well, the universe has thrown the three of us together, hasn't it?
Totally.
It has indeed. And I think that it's also timing. We know you're well aware of what's happening within the NHS and how difficult it is to get a doctor's appointment. And it's going back to what I said when we were on the podcast. It's people have to take responsibility for their own health. Yes. If they don't, they're going to suffer. And we don't want that.
Absolutely not.
So it's being able to give someone a choice, give them an opportunity that they've not been able to have up until now.
Yeah, there's just too much needless suffering in this world. People coping with symptoms that they don't need to have to cope with.
Yeah. But again, a lot of it is education. They've not been given that right education.
Completely agree.
Absolutely.
Diet
don't know any better.
is a huge part to that. What we put in our mouths every day has an effect, especially with our ailments. Yeah. And I'll give you an example. My wife was away for a couple of days and I had a very bad diet the past week.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And I never do. My diet's very clean, but I had the kids to deal with, so I was taking them out to nice restaurants, having pasta and pizza, and I never do that. But in all honesty, I woke up and I felt quite sluggish. I had a little bit of joint pain in my elbows and shoulders, which I never really have, So again, it's understanding of what to eat, when to eat, the right times. And you get a lot of ailments, especially who, can be help corrected with a very good diet. And now adding all of these contributions of molecular hydrogen and photobiomodulation and PEMF, helps give you that whole holistic bubble of what the individual is experiencing, and their ailments improving.
Yeah, for sure. And people can take what they want from it because people will want to change different things. They'll find certain things easier to change than others, certain treatments more accessible to them for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, we're going to give them what they need.
Totally. And again, we have other options to that as well with the supplements. As an example, we brought the high stability mycellulated supplements in because that one supplement could give a client a very quick change where they understand, oh, wow. So I started taking the curcumin and my inflammation markers had come down. My aches and pains were better. And then that could then bring them into the clinic because they'll be like, what else do you do?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and that's just literally starting with 1 or 2 supplements. And that happens on an everyday basis in London in our clinic.
Yeah, and that is in essence down to education, isn't it? Because people will gradually then want to know for themselves. They'll want to learn, maybe do their own research, or we can just talk to them about the benefits of things.
And that's what we do as well, Deb. So I do a lot of the free of charge consultations. So I give between 15 and 30 minutes. I can only do 10 a week. So I have a Calendly system and collectively we will do that together where I can give my expertise and my advice of what I think the individual would need moving forward. And we put together a set protocol. Yeah. So again, it's just great times in all honesty because we've got the very, very best technologies and collectively together, we know that this is really going to work.
Yeah. Serious teamers,
Yes.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Very
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So watch out the north. We're coming.
Totally.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. This has been a brilliant chat. I've loved it. And I'm sure we will revisit this as things progress and keep people up to date with what's happening.
Yeah. Just another thing I'm going to add, because we did say it on the last podcast, that,
Go on.
and I can talk, I don't know, but that's why I'm here, that especially up north, we get a lot of individuals who have a different type of system where they claim it can produce molecular hydrogen. But what I would do is if you can get my details from wherever, from the podcast, I would just recommend purchasing this type of equipment to test your machine to see if it has therapeutic hydrogen, just like what I showed today. Okay, costs 60 quid to purchase. And that way it will help you identify the pH level of the water, making sure it's not above 9.5, and it has that therapeutic level of hydrogen. If it doesn't, then we have a solution for that. And like I said, the Tyant hybrid machine is the only machine that produces molecular hydrogen at a nice pH level, not too alkaline.
Yeah, in soft water areas.
In soft water areas.
Like Sheffield. Yeah, so thank you. More
Thank you.
will be forthcoming.
Thank you, Dr. Debs.
No, it's been brilliant. Thanks, guys.
Perfect.